Hi everybody, welcome back to the Man Cave. I'm Phil. Thanks for watching tonight. I didn't know we were going to get to this quite this quickly, but as you can see, I've got my painting, caulking, and mudding and taping attire on. Got plenty of residue from mudding and taping and painting. But anyway, we're getting iced in here tonight, and we're going to be probably iced in tomorrow, so I thought, why waste the time? You know, might as well get something done down here. So I went out and I grabbed some joint compound, and I've got all my tools out, and I'm kind of ready to go. I kind of want to show you what we're going to do. First thing I do is I got a 6-inch knife here, drywall knife, and we've got everything screwed in here, and all of these screw heads are theoretically countersunk. You remember I had that little bell head on the Phillips head driver that countersinks those. But I can guarantee you're going to find some that aren't sunk all the way you want. So what you want to do is you want to drag this drywall knife along this wall, all along these nail or screw holes, and you'll feel that it's usually pretty smooth. Now I left a couple out here so you can hear the difference. Do you hear that? So you hear this knife snap like that, and you know right then that this screw head is sticking up. And we've got a couple more down here, again, nice and smooth, and then pop, pop, pop. So these screws need to be countersunk before you start mudding. Otherwise, you know, they're just going to be sticking out. I mean, and nobody wants that. So let's get those countersunk real quick. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll go around to all these walls, top to bottom, and as I do the ceiling, I'll also do that on the ceiling, and just make sure that all these screws are countersunk like I want them. And then what we'll do is we'll come back with this 6-inch knife, and we'll put some mud in our mud pan, joint compound, whatever you want to call it. And we'll get some joint compound in there, and we'll start hitting some of these holes, and I think we'll even go ahead and tape this seam just so you guys can see how that goes. We'll be right back. Alright, well, we got our joint compound in our tray here. As you can see, it's a pretty thick substance. Get it pre-mixed in 5-gallon buckets, or you can buy yourself a bag and do all that jazz, but I prefer to buy it pre-mixed. As far as the nail holes, and there's not much to them, you just get a little drywall mud on your knife. Now if you get a guy who knows how to do this stuff, he can knock this out in a matter of about a third of the time it takes me. Now we'll hit these a couple of times throughout the process. You know, you want to let them dry for, I don't know, however long. It depends on the temperature and the humidity, but I'll let this dry overnight tonight, and then we'll hit those again tomorrow, and I'll continue with all the rest of these screw holes all the way around. But let me see if I can get this joint mudded in. I just want to get a bunch of compound on here right now so that I can get that tape embedded. And the reason you put the tape on there is if you just put this compound over these seams and you don't put the tape, it's going to crack every time. So you got to have that that tape in between just to really keep it from cracking. This doesn't have to be real pretty, because I'm going to come back over it after I get this tape, and I'm going to put that tape on there. And it's just paper drywall tape, nothing real fancy. And simply tear it by hand. And we want to push that right into that drywall mud, right on the seam. Okay, now that that's pushed in there, I'll go back over it again. And I'm going to want to make sure to push all the air bubbles out from that tape as I go along. And let that set in there real well. That joint between the two sheets of drywall is actually tapered so that it can handle this mud and this tape without putting a lump in the wall. Okay, and that's pretty much it. You know, for getting that bedded in. I mean, we'll go over the rest of the screw holes, obviously, but I'm going to go over that, hit it again, kind of smooth it out a little bit. But then after that sets up, we'll come back in there tomorrow, and we had our 6-inch knife, which is what we used tonight, to bed this in. And then I'll come back and there's a 10-inch knife, as you can see, much larger. And then we're going to go into the 12-inch knife on these seams here to feather everything out as much as you can. Now I might not need the 12-inch knife on these tapered seams, because there's tapered seams and then there's butt joints. And the butt joints you got to feather out a little further just to get yourself a nice transition. But we'll show you that as we go along. Also, I guess we'll show you the corner tool. As you can see, it's bent at a 90-degree angle, and you fold your tape in half. You get this all mudded in. You fold that tape in half, and you just kind of do the same thing as I did right here, but in the corner. So it's not that difficult. We'll show you as we go along some of those steps. Thanks for watching. Back to you, Randy.